Quality feedback is one of the most powerful tools for student growth. But writing truly individualized, actionable feedback takes a huge amount of time. When you finally get home after staying late, making dinner, and want to spend time with family or a friend or just unwind alone, feedback is usually the first thing to get a little bit rushed. That's the problem GradingPal is designed to solve. GradingPal uses AI to generate personalized and detailed feedback for every single student. The feedback is always tied directly to the student work and to the rubric criteria and gives students clear next steps that will help them improve their work in the future. Here's a quick before and after. You can see the student's original work in Google Doc form here. And here you can see the same student work once it's been loaded into GradingPal. And GradingPal has used AI to help with scoring directly tied to the rubric and student feedback. When you click on the scoring, you can see a clear explanation written by AI about why the student scored at the level they did for each criterion. And there's evidence directly from the text to help the teacher understand that score. And when you click over to the student feedback, you can see there's overall feedback, and depending on the feedback style that you choose, more on that in another video, you see different sections of feedback here that no matter what style you choose, will help the child improve their work. They'll understand the criterion even better and improve their work next time. Let's take a look at how I work with GradingPal to get this kind of feedback for students. So here is where the magic happens. After I've set up an assignment and created the rubric, which you can learn more about in other videos, which we'll try to connect you with. After I've done all that, I can see different feedback styles to choose from. There's 6 here at the top and some smaller edits at the bottom that I'll explain to you in just a moment. So the feedback style that we love the best, I might say, is targeted. It's very popular. It shows you a very explicit connection between the feedback that's given and the student work. It links them up, almost like hyperlinked. We all know like a glow and grow, a sandwich is kind of similar, right? They both try to be positive and constructive. Actionable is just that, like it gives step-by-step suggestions for improvement. It's almost like teaching the student again, right? Structured feedback, let me explain that one a little bit. Structured feedback connects to the structure of the assignment. As you can see here in the little feedback style preview, this student wrote about the water cycle, and the preview here of structured feedback shows content understanding, clear basic definition, right? You see it's very structured. It's telling the kid, hey, you were accountable for content understanding. What you've done with that part of the assignment, content understanding, is that you have a clear basic definition. Good job. And then it says detail, include specific processes. So we can see there that for a different part of the structure of the assignment, adding detail, the student gets a little more feedback about how they could improve. So that's the structured one. And then Socratic is really, really cool. It asks questions. So look at that same student sample here about the water cycle, but as you can see, the feedback is just in the form of questions, as a Socratic method would have us do. Then, and when you scroll down, you can see that something can be more detailed or more concise, okay? And lastly, we can adjust the warmth of the feedback on a range from very, very rigorous to very encouraging or somewhere in between. So here we're looking at the targeted style of feedback that I selected. So when I click on a feedback comment on the right-hand side, you can see that the place in the student writing that directly connects to that feedback is highlighted in the left-hand side in the student work. So we can see how they connect. When the student says the theme is family, the feedback says this statement identifies a topic, not a thesis. So this is really high quality feedback from AI here. It says the statement identifies a topic, not a thesis. A thesis must be an arguable claim that you provide throughout your essay. Instead of stating an obvious fact, make an argument about what Hansberry says about family, right? So it's deeper. The theme is family is very basic. I would expect that from kids in like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. Right? But this is high school level work. So saying the theme is family doesn't quite do it. They have to make an argument about what the author says about family. So this is great AI feedback, and you can see it in the targeted style. It's rigorous. That was the other part of the selection that I chose. In just a moment, I'm going to show you this same student work with different feedback settings. So this time, to show you the range of the personalized feedback that you can get in GradingPal, I'm going to go to what I think of as like the opposite end of the spectrum from targeted. I'm going to click on Socratic. This is going to ask the student questions about their work and cause them to really think. It puts the responsibility in a way back on them to improve it. And I'll stick with rigorous and detailed as well. Okay, now we're looking at that same student's work about family in The Raisin in the Sun, the kid who said the theme is family. And here we're going to see the Socratic style of feedback is organized in terms of questions. So we were looking at the thesis a moment ago with the targeted style. Let's look at the thesis with the Socratic style. It says questions for refining your thesis. Your current thesis is stated as the theme is family. And the theme is that family is important. Is this a specific arguable claim or a general topic? I think a big part of teaching is to teach kids about what this word general means, general versus specific. It goes on, what specific argument are you making about the importance of family? Does Hansberry simply say family is important, or does she explore the complexities, challenges, and sacrifices involved? Okay, here in this question, it's starting to help the student get the idea a little bit more. I was kind of worried with these questions here that maybe this student who's struggling, honestly, right, might not get it. Like these questions might go over their head. But then this question, it really spells it out for them. It's a pretty direct question in a way, right? So you can see that the Socratic feedback style puts the onus of responsibility back on the student. They have to do some thinking to engage with these questions. Sometimes I think the Socratic style is better for the high achievers, like let's push them to continue to expand and explore. And like I said, put the work back on them. But even so, this student is struggling, and I could see how the Socratic style could help them. This is a really high quality question. All right, I'm going to show you one more for now, because in another video, I actually go through all of the different feedback styles and kind of try to show them side by side. The purpose of this video is to just show you about the high quality feedback that students can receive, no matter what style you choose, right? But I wanted to give you a selection. So I'm going to choose Actionable now, and I'm going to upload that same piece of student work that we were looking at. So now we're looking at the feedback through the actionable style of feedback for that same student work. We see actionable steps for revision, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? We looked at thesis from other styles, so let's look at it from actionable. Transform your topic into an arguable thesis statement. You identify the topic of family, but a thesis must be a specific claim. So we saw the same thing in the other feedback styles. They're saying this student has not been specific enough, right? That's what we want to see. The feedback style shouldn't change what the feedback is, just sort of how it's delivered, which can affect how a student receives it, right? The theme is that family is important is a statement of fact. We also saw this in the Socratic style, right? An arguable thesis would state how or why family is important. And then it gives an example. So here's actionable. This might be best, in my opinion, for a student like this who's really struggling. So now you've seen GradingPal uses AI to give exceptionally high quality feedback, and it can help students understand exactly what to work on next. Because the feedback references their actual work and the rubric criterion, it feels personal, not just generic or automated. And teachers save the hours that they used to have to put in to spend writing individualized notes from scratch. But that doesn't mean they're out of control or out of the loop, right? They can edit the tone, they can edit the style. And when they save time writing it, that means they have more time to help students understand the feedback, which is for a lot of us the really human side anyway. Who wants to sit at home writing feedback when we can have the feedback written for us and then sit with the kid in school teaching them how to use it, right? So if you want to instantly upgrade the quality of your feedback and to give yourself more time to implement it with kids, try GradingPal. Upload one assignment and let GradingPal generate personalized feedback for every student. Give it a try today at gradingpal.com.